fans, I'm Bryan Montgomery, joined today by head coach Bryan Jones of the Jesuit Dallas baseball squad. The Rangers are set for 2016 competition this upcoming weekend at the College Station Tournament, and we're going to quickly preview the squad as we head into Thursday's season opener. Coach, before we really turn our lens completely to the 2016 campaign, let's take one final visit back to what was a historic 2015 season, a 35-4-2, the first trip to the UIL 6A state semifinals. With such a strong core of returners coming back to the squad, the motivation has to be there for the team to get back to Round Rock and possibly go further this year.
Yeah, first, just taking a look back, that was an amazing run. It was obviously for the kids, for the school, the community, the program. It was, I hate to say it might have been a once-in-a-lifetime trip, but it was definitely a first for not only me, but like I said, the program. And, if we could make that a yearly thing, obviously that would be a great thing for the program. And like I said, the community and the support that we had was just outstanding. And that alone, I think, obviously getting a taste of it and bringing that back for the returners, I think is a big thing, And the big thing about it, I don't think that we've made a big deal about, hey, it's either that or nothing this year. I mean, it's a whole new group, it's a new dynamic, and it's a new makeup of a team, and I think that would kind of be unfair to each year just kind of go in and say, hey, it's either we're Round Rock or we're nothing. So we kind of start all over, and we start with new goals for this group. It was an amazing run. It was a fun run, and don't get me wrong, would definitely love to make that run again.
And then that returning group that you mentioned and the new makeup of the squad this year is really complemented by the 10 seniors that are on this team. They've seen a lot of success throughout their time with this program and definitely have a lot of confidence as they head into the season. From a leadership perspective, how has that unit been during the preseason?
They've really stepped up, and again, like I said, we're really just trying to find, or up to this point, trying to find our new leadership roles and kind of where everybody falls and where they belong and who's gonna follow this and who's gonna be the leader of this group. And not everybody really wants to step up and kind of play that role. So and it's something to where I can't really point a finger and say you're going to be the leader here. But the guys, again, I think have their sights set pretty high, and again, they've taken leadership and they've taken ownership of it, and we just go out daily and work on what we think we need to work on and get prepared, and the scrimmages have went really well, and I think we're really ready to get started for Thursday.
And then taking more of a deeper look at the actual roster itself, the pitching staff, an incredibly balanced from an arm perspective, pretty much dead even lefty-righty. And a lot of that power is coming from the fact that you have three starters that had incredible 2015 campaigns in Kyle Muller, Jacob Polish, and J.J. Montenegro. All three of them are back and looking to replicate what they did last year. Having that solid foundation on the mound to start the game has to make you feel confident as a coach.
Definitely. And our game and our philosophy since I've got here was pitching and defense. And that's exactly what we're going to take into this year. That's not going to be any different. And, we ask those guys just go out there and throw strikes, and then we're going to let our defense play behind them and play solid. And that's that's a philosophy that we're going in with. And we feel like with those guys on the mound and you throw in, another senior, Pete Hamrick, that's gonna another lefty that you throw in there, and those guys they're gonna limit base runners and they're gonna limit runs for the other team, and we're gonna scratch some across, and again, pitching and defense is what we base everything off of.
And then looking at that infield-outfield contingent, along with, of course, Bryce Bonner starting off the season behind the plate. For a team that last year, their moniker was the fact that you were able to just limit so many opponents to so few runs, to so little offense. That's got to be, again, a very confidence-building thing heading into the year.
With Bryce, another 3-year starter for us. Cameron Dobbs, a 3-year starter for us, in the same way with Muller. When those guys come in and they're able to compete at our level as sophomores, then obviously you're looking at their second and third year, which now being those guys' third year, that that's who we build around, and we've been fortunate enough to have that over the past few years, have guys come in as starters, as sophomores, and to be able to those are the ones that we're really building around, and they take over that leadership role, like I say, by the time we roll around to senior year, and they know what we expect, they know what to do, and they know what they want to get done. So that we rely heavily on that, but. It's not all in their hands. There's just one time through the batting order or one position on the field. So there's other guys that got to step up and take that role. And the good thing about it is even though you mentioned pitching earlier with JJ and Jacob now being juniors, obviously we got those guys back. You talk about other juniors. You got Mark Reddy. That's going to be steady for us defensively as well. You got JT Mix that's going to be steady for us as well defensively up the middle. So each year we try to, we go into playing this year definitely, but at the same time in the back of your mind, you're trying to plan for the future. And hey, we need these guys to get some experience so that we're down the road. And it's just it's a chess match, if you will, putting some puzzles together. And definitely we do it for this year, but at the same time we're looking for the long haul as well.
And then looking at the offense, in total you had 6 hitters that went 350 or above in the batting average last year, 4 of which are coming back. And even though you did in fact lose your top hitter last year in Darius Hill, who's now currently playing at West Virginia University, again, the fact that you have that foundation back once again, and you can, as you mentioned, scratch those runs across the plate.
Darius is a guy that's going to be hard to replace. And you throw in Nick Reddy at Air Force, and you throw in Grant Rubin. Those guys were, again, I'll go back to the 3-year starters for us as sophomores, juniors, senior years. And I don't think you can replace people like that. You just kind of try to fill their role as best as you can, and hopefully somebody will come in and fill those shoes. But again, to replace that is tough to do. But I think we're going to be okay. Again, we've got guys that are coming in that are capable, and they need some time and they need some experience. And again, we're going to probably manufacture a little bit more runs than what we did last year, which is fine because offensively, I like small ball, and we like to manufacture runs, and I think that's what we're going to be able to do. And I think we've done a good job of it so far in the scrimmages.
And now looking at the schedule itself, you have 3 consecutive weekends of tournament play and just an absolutely stacked schedule early on before you get into district play. You start at College Station, 6 games that weekend. You come right back here to Jesuit Dallas for the annual baseball classic. And then I'm sure a date that a lot of baseball pundits around the area have circled on their calendars, and it's hard to even ignore it, is the fact that you have an impending matchup against the preseason state-ranked number 1 Coppell on March 10th during the Highland Park Classic. With such an early schedule stacked up against high-quality opponents, before you get into district play, that's got to be something that you have to be excited about, because you know that early on you're going to be facing the top brass before the games really do count in district play.
Definitely, and that's another thing that we wanted to bring to the table when I got here was to really test ourselves and kind of see where we are. And I think going into 3 tournaments, and roughly we asked for 6 games in each of those tournaments. So we've played, everything goes right, weather permitting. We're going to play 18 games before we go into district play. And by playing 18 games in those 3 tournaments, that if we're not ready for a district play by that time, again, like you say, going up against the competition that we are, I don't think there's any better way to get ready. And it does test us, and it tests us right off the bat, like you say, with playing 6 games. And we're fortunate enough to have the pitching to do that. I think there's a lot of people that aren't able to go into tournaments with 6 games because they don't have the depth or they don't have the pitching. But again, you go in with we're going to go to College Station with a plan. And from my 6 previous years, we always come back with a different plan after that first weekend, and it really tells you where you are. It tells you what you need to work on. You maybe need to make a change here. So it's valuable to go down there. It's valuable to be up against some top competition. And again, you're doing it to put yourself in situations in order to be ready for the long haul.
All right, well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to you in this upcoming season. The Rangers kicking off their 2016 campaign this upcoming Thursday against Klein in the College Station tournament. That game will take place at Bryan High School. And as always, Ranger fans, be sure to keep it locked into JesuitRangers.org for all of your up-to-date Rangers info.